Just like at Thanksgiving dinner, when you have more people at the table, you get more opinions in the discussion, whether you want them or not. It's the same thing with the Republican Party. This month's big win puts more people at the table: the Tea Party, social conservatives, gay rights activists. The mix of opinion is already a bit messy, raising questions about who speaks for the Tea Party and whether focusing on social issues is smart or leading to a political disaster. Joining us at our table today from Nashville, Tea Party Nation founder Judson Phillips; in Jacksonville, Florida, Christopher Barron, the chairman of GOProud, which represents gay conservatives; and here in Washington, Penny Nance. She's the CEO of Concerned Women for America. And I want to start just by going through the mail, if you will, since the election. Mr. Barron, you wrote this letter shortly after the election saying this election was not a mandate for the Republican Party, nor was it a mandate to act on any social issue, nor should it be interpreted as a political blank check. You went on to write, "We urge you to stay focused on the issues that got you and your colleagues elected and to resist the urge to run down any social issue rabbit holes in order to appease the special interests." So, Mr. Phillips, you took offense at that and quickly fired off this letter. Last Monday, a small group of non-Tea Party, non-conservatives released a letter trying to claim leadership of the Tea Party movement and purporting to tell you what the Tea Party movement wants. We, the undersigned, are leaders of the mainstream Tea Party groups. We are the people that helped get conservatives elected. In your letter, sir, you went on to say that one of the things you think the new Congress should fight is repeal of the military's don't ask, don't tell policy. And then, Penny Nance, you followed up with a letter of your own. We'll be fair to everybody's letter gets quoted here. And you wrote this to the Republican leadership: social issues should be at the very top of the list of priorities for the new Congress, along with sensible fiscal policies. Americans voted overwhelmingly for both social and fiscal conservatives, and it would be unwise to throw social policies to the wayside and snub the voters who sent a strong message to the new Congress that they want both pro-life and fiscally conservative policies. It raises the question, after this big win for the Republicans, it's sort of a who's on first conversation. Let me start with you, Mr. Barron. When you sent your letter, some have said you're trying to co-opt leadership of the Tea Party somehow. Do you see it that way?
No. First off, I think it's insulting for anybody to write a letter claiming that the folks who signed our letter, grassroots Tea Party leaders and organizations from all over the country, are somehow not part of the Tea Party. What brought enthusiasm to the conservative movement and allowed us to win in November was a laser focus on the size of government. We need limited government conservatives. We need to return power to the people, to the states, and take it away from the federal government.
Well, I'm insulted at his letter. GOProud is not now, nor has it ever been a part of the Tea Party movement. He threw this letter out, excuse me, without, he's got a couple of state leaders from the Tea Party Patriots group signing on to it, but that's about it. At Tea Party Nation, we put our letter out, and we ended up with over 180 signatures, and we had a deadline. If we extended our deadline, we had over 250 individuals, leaders, and groups that wanted to sign on to it. And the coalition that won this election, that won the elections for Ronald Reagan and other conservatives, are both social and fiscal. And basically what he's saying is, well, let's throw half this coalition under the bus. And, well, there's an old military axiom, divide and conquer, and that's exactly what would happen here.
Is one of the challenges here, and Penny Nance, Concerned Women for America has been around since before the Tea Party movement, but as the coalition grows, and the Democrats just went through this, you see the president now having moderate Democrats think he needs to move to the middle, liberal Democrats think he abandoned them in some way. As the Republicans get bigger, you think first and foremost, sure, social issues were not front and center in most campaigns. Most campaigns were about spending, about the health care bill, about the state of the economy, about debt. But you think the Republican leadership would be making a mistake if it didn't come out of the box, act on abortion, same-sex marriage, don't ask, don't tell?
Well, I mean, the proof's in the pudding. We got the vast majority of the people elected, the new people elected, are pro-life. And I would also say the Tea Party statistics are clear. 82% of them are pro-traditional marriage, 2/3 of them are pro-life. So we know who brung us to the dance. We know who elected this next Congress. It is social conservative and fiscal conservatives. You know, incidentally, those issues go hand in glove. I mean, when you talk about big spending, that means $300 million a year for Planned Parenthood. That means all the extra money that go to pay for radical leftist ideas. We can cut spending and do social issues at the same time. We think Congress can chew gum and walk down the street at the same time.
Mr. Barron, any areas of agreement?
Yeah, look, first off, I think that funding for Planned Parenthood is a spending issue, and we're completely and totally for defunding Planned Parenthood. Absolutely no question about it. That's a spending issue. What I'm talking about is, look, Penny and her folks are the same ones who bragged about their access and influence to the last failed Republican majorities. These are the same people who brought us Janet Jackson's nipple and gay marriage amendments and Terry Schiavo. And that's what we're talking about.
He says they'll be held accountable and punished if they do deal with the social issues. You're saying you'll hold them accountable and try to punish them if they don't.
That's ridiculous. The majority of the people who swept them in the office agree with the social conservative position. So, you know what? It's important that they do both, and I think they can. It's no problem. These issues go hand in glove. We can cut spending and go after public funding for abortion. There's no problem with that. There's no disconnect.
Look, I would
Christopher is simply wrong on this. When social conservatives and fiscal conservatives unite, conservatives win.
That's right.
It happened in '80, it happened in '94, it even happened in 2000 with George W. Bush. History you just can't argue with it. That's what happens. And what Chris wants to do is split this apart. And again, you split the social conservatives and fiscal conservatives. Guess what? The conservatives are back in the minority, and we have socialism running rampant like we do with this current Congress and current administration.
Look, we're not trying to split social conservatives off. Quite the contrary. What we're saying is we need consistent, limited government conservative. No, you're wrong. We have said that values are important.
Wrong. You're telling social conservatives to go to the back of the bus.
No, we're not. What we're saying, look.
Yeah, you are.
Let's be realistic here. The battle.
I am being realistic. I'm also being very accurate.
The battle over values and morality is not going to be fought and won in the halls of Congress. It's going to be fought and won in our houses of worship, in our schools, in our communities. That's where people who care about values, that's where social conservatives who really care about the coarsening of our culture, that's where they should be focusing their energy.
But unfortunately,
if we were in court, I'd be objecting to facts, not in evidence, because everything you're saying about social conservatives is wrong. Social conservatives are not trying to expand government. They're not trying to expand the size of government. Social conservatives are trying to do just the opposite.
And clearly, we have got to defend against an encroachment upon our families and our values. I'm sorry, you leave us no choice, which is why I ask you to publicly say that you will not push for repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell and domestic partner benefits, all those issues that the gay rights groups go after.
Penny, first off, again, I'm going to do whatever's our organization is going to do whatever's in the best interest of our United States military, what's in the best interest of our country's national security. Good. Secondly, what I think you should make a commitment to is not expand the size and scope of the federal government. So stop trying to amend. No, well, then that's great news. I assume that means you're not going to seek to amend the federal Constitution to federalize marriage and family laws, something that had been the province of the states for 225 years, something that would be the largest single power grab by the federal government from the states in the history of this country. I hope you'll commit to ending that today.
We will clearly stand with the American people, the people even in liberal states like Maine who stand firm on traditional marriage. You're the encroacher, not us.
I'm going to call I'm going to call a timeout here, but as you can see, we have a feisty bit of a family feud here, and I'll invite all three of you back. Let's continue the conversation as the Congress comes back into Washington, as we see how the agenda goes forward, not only here in Washington, but out in the states as well, where Republicans made big gains. I appreciate all of your time. Christopher Barron, Judson Phillips, Penny Nance, thanks for coming in today. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.